Here's how the Surrey Constabulary reacted to Mrs. Braverman's, quote, order. Last night, they went round to the home of Caroline Farrow, the wife of a priest, and arrested her. Why did they do that? Because she's not wholly on board with transgender ideology. Surrey police can't do anything if you've been burgled or raped. But as the paramilitary wing of Pink News or Stonewall, they're doing great. The Chief Constable of Surrey Police is Gavin Stevens. Here he is. Looks like a nice chap, very smiley there. We asked him to come on the show to defend this arrest, but he wimped out. However, Caroline Farrow is with us. I should actually say that at the time he wimped out of the interview, he did eventually provide us with a statement as to why he sent all these people round to arrest Caroline. He said there had been an allegation of malicious communications. And that a number of electronic devices were seized as potential evidence from this address under Section 19 of PACE. If you don't know what PACE is, there's no reason why you should know. It's the Police and Criminal Evidence Act. Anyway, it is good to see you, Caroline. This is a very topical subject, obviously, because of what Suella Braverman was saying. Taking what they say at face value, you've been charged with sending a malicious tweet or an email, something like that. Is that the case?
No, I've been released under investigation, so I don't know yet whether or not I'm going to be charged.
OK, so they come round. Do they have a warrant to enter your premises, these policemen?
It was so surreal. So it's a Monday night. I have 4 children. I'm making the family meal. I'm doing a roast chicken. And my husband says to me, oh, there's 2 policemen at the door, Caroline, and they won't speak to me. And we're quite used to having police at the door because we live in a presbytery and sometimes, you know, there are public order issues or whatever going on. As he said, they want to speak to you. So I go to the door and they said, right, we're here because we're investigating an allegation against you. And, yeah, they said, we're here because we're investigating an allegation against you made by a certain person. And they said, can we come in? And I said, do you have a warrant? And straight away, this burly policeman put his hand onto my front door and said,
yeah, we saw that.
We don't need one. We don't need one. And just basically barged his way in. And they said, we are arresting you.
Are you, by the way, just let me ask you on that, because as I understand the law, it's a little different in Scotland, but in England, Wales and Northern Ireland, I understood it to be that unless there was a serious charge, they were required to get a serious crime, and they were going to arrest a criminal accused of a serious crime, they were required to have a warrant. Have you been informed that that's not the case?
Yeah, I'm not entirely clear, so I don't want to opine and give incorrect information. But I was basically, they have to have a reasonable reason to arrest you. There needs to be a good reason. And the reason that they claimed that they were arresting me was because they needed to seize my electronic devices, which is quite scary because, you know, I've been the victim of some really quite severe harassment. A few years ago, there was a website producing death threats, rape threats, threatening my children even. And the police said, oh, we never seize electronic equipment. It has to be terrorism. So, you know, there they are seizing my devices. And they said they had to arrest me in order to seize my devices. Well, OK, if they had to seize my devices, they know I have children. Why don't they issue a warrant, a search warrant, come round and get my devices in the day and invite me in for interview instead of depriving me of my liberty in such an unnecessary and undignified way and in front of my children? And in fact, I mean, it was crazy because it's what they were... Sorry.
Well, we know why they're... No, we know why they're doing it in front of your children, because they want to teach you a lesson. We should say that this... You're the wife of a priest, and you are not fully on board with the full transgenderist agenda, as most people in the United Kingdom are not on board with it. But so the police, who are basically ideological enforcers now, chose to stage this arrest in front of your children, precisely to teach them a lesson that mummies who do bad things are going to be treated like. So they'll tell their friends, and their friends' mummies will say, "Oh, I'd best shut up about whatever it is I'm annoyed about."
You have to wonder if that's the case. And actually, in the case of my children, it was deeply irresponsible. So my two younger children have got learning difficulties. Well, they're both diagnosed autism. And they have been extremely traumatised, and I'm so angry about it. So I know my son today had to have some extra time with the teacher because he was really worried about what happens if mummy doesn't come home from prison. My other daughter was really distraught because one of the devices they took was an iPad that we use as her homework iPad. And one of the things that she's very obsessed by is Harry Potter, and she uses Harry Potter, the Audible books. They're lovely, actually, narrated by Stephen Fry. She uses them as a soothing thing. And the iPad has her entire Harry Potter collection on, and basically it's like the police have taken away her homework Harry Potter iPad, and she doesn't understand. And the reason that they took that was because they said, "Do you, Mrs. Farrow, have access to that device?" And I said, yes. So into the evidence bag it went. I mean...
Yeah. Well, and while we're on the subject of these computers, they also went... your husband is a priest. They went and demanded to go into the parish office and seize the computers there. Now, there's no... You were then arrested and taken to Guildford Police Station, which we might be coming to, and we might do a mass demonstration out there, because this goes on every week up and down the realm, and it's getting worse and worse. And you've been accused of a white-collar crime, which is sending a malicious email or a malicious tweet, and yet they treat you like a common criminal, and they remove all your jewellery and other items. They make you take your shoes off, because they say they need to get your side of the story. Why does treating you worse than they treat rapists help them get your side of the story?
And it's very undignified. The other thing is that when I was being booked into custody, I was saying this, that it felt so surreal. And I said, I can't quite believe this is happening. And the Sarge sort of looked a bit embarrassed. And then he said, well, sending malicious emails, sending abusive emails is a crime. And the PCs who'd arrested me and were booking me in said, oh, she hasn't sent any emails. She's written insulting posts on the internet. Just crazy.
Wait a minute. No, just that's a very important point in terms of malicious communications. So the coppers are standing around saying one thing, saying you posted something on the internet. This is the issue for most of us. England 3.5 centuries ago was the crucible of liberty, where one could speak freely. And now these policemen, these quote-unquote policemen, are making you do a semi-strip search, taking your shoes off, taking your jewellery off, in order to interview you about your opinions.
And the thing is as well, what was really weird, so I've never been arrested before, and it is quite shocking. So they were saying, can you lift your legs up? And I wasn't lifting my legs up correctly because I wasn't quite sure what I was supposed to be doing. And they said, oh no, you need to lift them up this way because we need to check your socks for drugs. And I'm like half an hour ago, I'm in my kitchen cooking roast chicken, and now you're checking my socks for drugs. I mean, I understand that it's standard procedure, but it was just
No,
surreal.
it's not. No, it's not standard procedure. They've chosen to do this to you. And that is what is so disgraceful about these pseudo-coppers. Sir Robert Peel, the founder of British policing, wouldn't regard that as standard procedure. The other thing it's very brave of you even to come on television and talk about it. Our friend Samantha Smith from Telford came on TV to talk about her experience with the West Mercia police, and then they went round and bullied her and intimidated her the next morning for daring to come on television and tell the truth about these third-rate coppers.
I wouldn't be surprised if they come round again, Mark, because one of the things they said to me was, "Oh, why do you want to talk about what's happened?" And I said, "Because I think it's a scandal and an outrage." And they were trying to sort of warn me off saying anything, but I just thought, you know, I need to say what's happened here. This is a scandal, this is an outrage, you know, and actually we need people to be brave and to stand up and to say this is not acceptable. You know, and what was so bizarre was I'm sat there in interview and they're showing me posts and they're not even posts I've made. They're showing me material and saying, "Can you explain this?" And I'm saying, "Well, I don't know, I didn't write it. What do you think of this?" "I don't know. I don't know why you're showing this to me. I don't know what it's about. I really don't understand." And basically, there's been an allegation that I have posted something. They've got no evidence, and they admitted that for some of the allegations they have no evidence. So they've seized my computer in order to see if there is evidence. Yeah. So it's like I have to prove my innocence. And that's not how justice works.
No, wait a minute. They have no basis for seizing these computers, Caroline, and they're also computers of your family members. This is an extraordinary overreach by the police. It's staged in the most intimidating and just like they did to dear old Samantha in Telford, it's staged in the most intimidating and bullying manner because they want to make an example of you so that any other would-be Carolines around the county and around the country don't think that this is a free country where you can express your opinions. Well, thank you for coming on, Caroline. And if those buggers do come round tomorrow, you let us know, because we're not done with this guy. What is this guy called? Gavin, whatever he needs. Memorize this guy's face, ladies and gentlemen. If you see him, tell him what you think of him. Another useless chief constable who doesn't do anything about rape, who doesn't do anything about burglary, but is prepared to police tweets to the extent of arresting a vicar's wife in front of her children and then dragging her off to the cells to have her shoes removed and to have her jewellery removed. Absolutely disgraceful.